Hey, hi, hello friends, and I'm back, and this time with minimal makeup. Hi friends, so I am actually currently not wearing a lot of makeup. I know, that's unusual for me. That's because it is actually relevant to something I want to say, which is that I'm extremely busy. It's the end of the year, and you guys know how it gets. It's just everybody wants all of their stuff at the end of the year, and everything needs to be done and cleared and all of those fun things. So the result of that is that I tend to be like slammed in a way that is probably unhealthy. So you guys are going to be getting these videos at random times, and they might be either too many at once or not enough. So you've been forewarned, which is, it's a staple of my channel, honestly, at this point, so I can't be too upset by that, but I still figured if I can provide you with a warning, I should. Now, next thing. This is not a react in a traditional sense in that I talk about one video that I've clipped down. This is actually a react of her day yesterday overall. So I took all 3 of her videos, I went through them, I clipped everything down. I think it's about 10 minutes. So let's see how long the video is. And I'm going to talk about everything. I have some screenshots that I'm also going to insert in here so you guys can see them as well, pertaining to Dandy in particular. And I'm going to ask you guys for some context as well because I miss things. And last but not least, the last piece of context that I want to provide you with, her video, Get a Room, Lara and Ronald. I am sorry about the way that it is framed. I could not, for the life of me, understand why my software did not want to screen record if it was full screen, and then why my clip grab software just did not want to get this video. I tried multiple times and then I gave up and I just did a screen recording, but it is janky and it's like potato quality. So once more, I am real sorry about that. The other 2 should be better. With all of that said, let's get into it.
Anyway, so I got stuck in the driveway. There was like 4 men pushing the car. Like, pushing as in like, this is so embarrassing. I don't know, I was like all nervous. So they were like, are you pushing on the gas? I was pushing on the brakes. Oh my God.
I left that in there because as much as she thinks it's an amusing anecdote, I worry for a lot of this day, her behavior, the little flecks of white powder you'll see towards the end of this video, that I think when this particular event was happening, if it actually happened, which entirely possible that she's a lying liar, I worry that this might actually be drugs. I think she might have been a little incapacitated because driving is a mode of transportation for Chantal that she uses as her primary mode of transportation, right? Chantal doesn't even really walk anywhere. So the fact that she got confused and she was pushing down on the brake rather than the accelerator while people are trying to get her car to move for several minutes, it didn't occur to her that maybe she was pushing on the wrong pedal, says to me that there's something else wrong there, and it says to me that her mental capacity might be more fractured than I would have thought otherwise.
You say pizza is not your responsibility. Okay, true, but your cats are not his responsibility. Also, can you address the methadone? There's no methadone, so there's nothing to address. Hi, Rhonda! Or I should say that's something, another rumor I'm just hearing about right now, since you mentioned it, so I can't address that, sorry. They're not his responsibility, but he's agreed and has no problem with looking after the cats for like a day at the most at a time. Like, so if he had a problem with it, then that would be a different story. Even then, I could still leave them for a day and they will be okay. Like, it's, you know what I mean?
Anyone can provide me with the context for the methadone comment, I'd appreciate that, because I don't know anything about this methadone thing. But then again, I don't hang out on the farms a lot, so I tend to miss stuff. One. Second, I've said before and I'll say it again, pizza's not a responsibility, and that's fair. The cats are not pizza's responsibility, and that's also fair. Asking someone to look after your cats is fine, but then it depends, right? If it's a temporary thing, then okay. But if you ask James, if she asks James to look after her cats and says, hey, I'm going to need you to look after him for today, or her today, the cats for today. And then instead, it spirals into every day for the next week because you're spending the vast majority of time at his house and sleeping over, then yeah, and she does come back to her house, right? We've seen that she'll multiple times, like, once every day or so, she'll make a trip back to her house, but she's there for very short periods of time. Very short periods of time. And I think a big reason for that is because Chantal is the kind of person who thinks that with enough exposure to her, anyone will grow to love her, which I don't know, and I don't necessarily believe is true, but also I think that might be the exact methodology that Stockholm Syndrome works on. So let's see. Yeah, so I understand where this person is coming from. The fact that you think that just Pete's saying, yeah, okay, it's fine, I guess I can do it, does not mean anything. If I lived with someone who was continuously neglecting their cats, I would take care of those cats too. It doesn't mean I've agreed. It means that I don't want those cats to be further harmed. More importantly, they are your cats and they are your responsibility, even if Pete's has agreed. So the fact that you weren't willing to clean out the litter box and he did it when his cat has passed away, it still makes you a pretty shitty fucking owner. It just means that he's not willing to let those cats suffer. Point in his favor, a point against yours.
Yes, Abby. No, it's not more than a day. I try to go every single day, and maybe like one day I won't go like for a whole day or something like that, you know? I didn't leave for a whole week. No, never. Never. Nope, that did not happen. Did not happen. No way I would leave them for a week. Oh, sorry. Toronto was like the most. Yeah, that was like the most. You got.
I actually think that she's right about that. I don't think she's technically gone without seeing them for like longer than that trip to Toronto. But more importantly, the way that she sees them on a day-to-day basis is that she'll be there for a few hours in the morning when she's sleeping. Then she goes over to Natter's place and she's there the whole day. Then she sleeps over. And then sometimes in the evening, she'll be back again. And then the cycle repeats. It's like a 2-day cycle, right? And there's some variation in that. But for the most part, they're only seeing her when she's sleeping 2 days at a time. That's not spending time with your cats. I think that the cats might end up becoming more attached to James where they can. I don't think that that is an appropriate way to say that, hey, yeah, you know, of course I see them, because that's disingenuous. It's making an argument in bad faith. You're technically seeing them every 24 hours, but you're not really doing anything for them. And all the stuff that goes into being a responsible cat owner, right? Like changing their litter, feeding them food, calling the vet if they're sick. You're not doing any of those. The not taking the cats to the vet thing aside, Pete is the one who feeds them. Pete is the one who cleans them. Pete is the one who interacts with them. Pete is the one who takes care of all of his stuff. And here I am saying Pete again. I got to make a conscious effort to use his name. So when I'm looking at this, like you're saying I don't see them. I see them every day. You might see them technically every 24 hours if you're capping it at midnight to midnight. But that doesn't mean that you're spending any amount of quality time with them, because it seems the vast majority of time that you are at home or outside of the company of Natter, you're either in your car getting food, driving back and forth from his place, or sleeping. And none of those are activities exactly that you can engage with your cat in. Now, cats are a fairly independent creature, so I don't know how much socialization they need. And there are 2 of them, which I've heard makes it a little bit better when it comes to the socialization of cats. Doesn't make you a good owner, though, because you're not looking after them. The most you can say is that, yeah, you know, Pete's is the one responsible for their primary care. But you don't say that because you don't want to seem like a bad cat mom, right? Like, my parents are the one who are primarily responsible for her care. My sister lives in the house as well, and she does like all the big stuff, like taking the cat to the vet and all of those things. My parents are the ones who like feed her on a day-to-day basis and do all of those fun things. That's why I think of them as co-owners, because my sister is just, she's in college. She's just not home enough to be able to take care of the cat the way the cat needs to be taken care of.
You guys know that. I love my cats. When I go home tonight, you'll see they're fine. Their box is going to be clean. I'll show you their box if you want. You guys want an inspection of my box, the litter box? My house is clean. I just have to do my room. That's it. And we can do that too. I don't know. Like,
look at her smug ass face. She's like, I don't know. I cleaned them. Girl, you didn't clean it. Their litter box is clean because James cleaned it. Your room is clean because you were afraid for one reason or another and you did a deep clean on your house. Your house is normally filthy. And by the way, I don't even know what her version of clean even means. For all I know, it means that it's not disgusting, right? Like, this is what I mean when I say there's a huge difference between places being untidy and being like filthy, right? Untidy is kind of like what my room is right now. I've got a pile of Christmas presents that are sitting over there waiting to be wrapped and labeled so that I can start distributing them to people. And I've got half folded laundry that's sitting over there on my bed because I have to put it away before the day is over, and I've already sorted it into piles. I just need to go through it, right? That's kind of like being untidy, in that stuff tends to accumulate, and every couple of days I'll just go through and I'll sort everything and I'll put stuff away, right? There's like 3 cups of water that are sitting on my desk most of the time. Right now there's only one. I only have this one because I get very thirsty, as you guys know, and this is my favorite mug. But I have that. I've got a couple of lipsticks that are sitting here. You know, there's an old credit card that's sitting here that I have to shred. That's it. That's kind of like the messiness that I'm talking about. My house tends to be messy, you know. Both partner and I work like a tremendous amount. And so between, you know, working for work and working on YouTube, I tend to be pretty busy. And so sometimes stuff piles up. Being filthy means you've got dishes that are sitting there collecting mold. You've got unclean laundry. You've got garbage. And you are basically in a state of untidiness, right? It's a combination of what I said before, of just being untidy and combining it with an aspect of being dirty, right? And I mean dirty in the way that you've tracked dirt into your house. Not the way that she uses it, which is to degrade people with STDs and or who might be gay. So that's your level of tidy. I don't even know what that looks like. She's saying it's clean, but a lot of times we'll be like, oh yeah, it's clean, but then her entire house will be filled with boxes from Amazon from floor to ceiling. Because to her, that doesn't count as being dirty. I wouldn't classify that as being filthy the way that their house is a lot of times with like cat shit on the floor, but that isn't exactly clean either. Clean would imply not even a level of tidiness. My house isn't what I would classify as being clean because it's kind of messy and a little untidy. Your house tends to be leagues above that. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure that house can ever get to that stage of being perfectly clean again. I'll tell you what I mean. I have a friend of mine who has a baby. Actually, several friends of mine have babies or are about to have babies. And one of them, their child transitioned to eating solids. And if you don't know, once kids transition to eating solids, their diapers tend to smell a lot more. She got a diaper genie. The diaper genie broke. So their solution was they had a floating shelf and they hung a little bag on it and they started putting all the diapers in there, and then every time there'd be like a poop diaper, they would close it up and they would throw the bag away and replace it. Problem was that even though it was only sitting in there for a short period of time, that wood was absorbing some of that smell. And so basically over the span of a week that it took them to replace the diaper genie, it developed such an odor that they had to replace the entire shelf. This is what I mean by her place never really being clean again. There is a certain level of grime that I don't think you can ever really get at. Like, say if you've got pets that are continuously defecating and urinating all over the carpets. You can clean it out to a certain degree, but you're never going to be able to get it back to that pristine condition unless you're on top of it all the time. And a person who's on top of it all the time wouldn't be letting them defecate and urinate on their carpets repetitively anyway. So I don't think that her apartment has the ability to be perfectly clean ever again. And her level of clean is like, that bar is so low that I don't think anyone can limbo under it.
It's a luxury villa for the cats. Pete's and the cats are very comfortable at the luxury villa. Make sure it's not friggin' filthy. Make sure it's got food. I take him for groceries, give him money to order out whenever he wants. The cats have treats, the cats have food, it's clean there right now. What more do you want?
She put cats and James in the same category. I feed them. I take care of them, you know, that's all that's really required, is that the house isn't absolutely disgusting and that I give them food. What more do you want when it comes to caring? Well, when it comes to people, you have to give them emotional support, love, and affection. And when it comes to cats, you have to comb them, take the mats out of their hair, and take them to the vet. So.
Hi, Jamie! We just, Pete's did it, okay? Completely changed the litter box. It's so clean.
He didn't do it, though. That's what I'm trying to communicate here. Pete did what he could, but he said that he needs Chantel's help to really clean everything out, to change the litter. Pretty Little will absorb a lot of, the urine and some of that, some of the stuff, and you have to scoop out all of the poop. He's only done one part of it, which is scooping everything out that needs to be scooped out. To change the actual litter, he said he was going to wait for Chantel. I think Pretty Litter is great if you are a conscientious cat owner and just want to make sure that you can go a little bit between changing them out, like the litter. Right? Reduce the impact on the environment and make it better all around. It's really bad. My sister, I think, also uses Pretty Litter, I think. I'm not sure. But when you're talking about someone like Chantel, she uses it as an excuse to not change the cat litter out for what feels like months. That's why her cats often poop on the floor. Cats are very clean creatures. If they don't have a clean litter box to go into, they will poop anywhere. Like my sister's cat accidentally got locked into a room once. They thought that she had left, but she hadn't. And she pooped in a corner. She didn't want to, but she couldn't help it. She's an animal. She has to go poop and pee somewhere. And so she didn't have any clean litter available to her. If we know immediately when her box gets like too full for her comfort, because she'll start avoiding it. She won't go in it right away. She'll wait like a whole day before she'll go anywhere else. But we know if she hasn't used it some point during the day, then there's definitely too much in there. And honestly, every week that litter gets cleaned and changed out. I don't know if it gets changed out, but I know it gets cleaned. I don't know enough about cats to really know how often they should be doing it. I don't think that you're taking care of your cats by the simple evidence of the fact that your cat poops all over the floors.
No, I'm not moving it anywhere right now. This is how I like it. Here for the trade.
Good. I'm glad she's not moving anywhere right now, though I very much so doubt that that will remain so if she continues in the way that she's continuing right now. And also, it might not be her choice. I said before that if Pete decides to move to Toronto, what is she going to do? Her credit is absolute shit. She's not going to be able to afford something on her own.
Rex, giving as little as possible to point out that you're under the influence while driving. You're generally bad human. Under the influence of what? You think I had my beer today?
I don't know about beer, but she's definitely on something. You don't sit there in a car with your foot on the brake, thinking that your car has broken down and somehow manage to recruit 4 people to come help push your car, all without realizing that you might be stepping on the wrong pedal, unless your mental capacity has been diminished somehow. So if it's not drugs and if it's not alcohol, then it's definitely some sort of brain thing. And you should probably go to a neurologist.
Thanks here for the train wrecks. Okay, if I'm under anything, then I'm just perma-fried. I'm actually tired. Oh, this is my job.
All right, that was the end of the first video. And yeah, you might be perma-fried. Because you know what? Prolonged drug use can actually do that. It can impact your mental capabilities. It's been seen. It's been a pretty easily observable fact. This is the next video. This is about 40 minutes long. It's OMG, I can't even. It's a terrible video, by the way. It's mostly of us just watching the long road as she drives home from the trap house to the luxury villa.
Okay, I don't want to say this, but I don't want you to think I'm guilt tripping you, because I'm not. Okay? But I just want you to know that when I had to cancel the coffee bees in, I've thought, oh my god, they're not going to believe me because I've done this so many times. It's just another instance of letting them down. And I hate that. I hate letting you guys down. So, and I really don't try to. It's not like I say, oh, my VIPs, I hate them all.
If you guys don't know, she set a schedule that she's going to do a coffee bees every morning, and then every evening she's going to go live, and she's going to do like a dinner stream or something like that. And so far, she didn't do it this day because she canceled it. And then today, she said that she woke up extremely late, and she completely missed out on that video as well. I'm sorry, but what the fuck are you talking about exactly here when it comes to like your VIBs? What are you talking about when you're saying that, oh, I don't mean to let you down? I had meetings starting at 7 o'clock this morning, okay? Do you know, first of all, why do people insist on having meetings that could have just been an email? It is so much easier to do that. But beyond that fact, right? Why does she not understand or seem to comprehend the idea of having alarms and then adhering to them? Because that's what I do. Fun fact. I set alarms for myself. You guys see me wear this a lot, but I have the Fitbit. That's one of the biggest reasons I wear the Fitbit is because partner and I tend to have different schedules. His work days tend to start a little bit later. I work sometimes with international sites, and so I have to be up at a time where I can communicate with them. So I'm up early, and I don't want to wake him, so I have this set on the silent ring, and it buzzes my hand, and I wake up. Half of that is that I set alarms for myself. I have 3 alarms, 2 on here. 1 is my backup alarm on my phone, just in case this doesn't wake me up at all. And the last thing, the big part of me waking up in the morning is the understanding that I need to be awake because I have responsibilities. When that alarm goes off and it disturbs my sleep, I wake up for a little bit and sometimes I think to myself, oh God, I don't want to do this. So if it's something like, oh, I'm giving myself an extra half an hour this morning so I can do makeup, I will maybe take another short nap and I'll wake up after that. But if not, if it's because I have a meeting starting, I get my ass out of bed. That understanding and personalizing the responsibility that I have towards others is what motivates me to get out of bed. That's what people mean when they say that you seem to not care that about your VIPs, or you seem to not prioritize them. Because for some reason, when it comes time to you going to see Natter, none of these things seem to happen. You're always there to go to his house. But the responsibility you have towards the people that are literally putting food in your mouth and gas in your car doesn't seem to ever occur to you. You never seem to take up the mantle and make sure that you're getting done what you said you'd get done for them. I'm doing this, by the way. It's a very, I don't know, Daisy thing. My dad does it a lot.
Like, what? No, I'm just a freaking lazy piece of crap sometimes. So...
You're not just a lazy piece of crap, though she is that too. She's a lazy, irresponsible, careless piece of crap. She is the kind of piece of crap who does not give a shit about the people in her life. That's why she has basically no people in her life. People will put up with that for a short period of time. They're not going to put up with it forever.
I swear to God, Natter is like MacGyver in the kitchen. He will come up with any contraption to... Like, he came up with his own shawarma machine in the oven that you can do at home. I swear. I was like, oh my God. Like, I don't know how he does it. He just comes up with, like, ideas for things on the whim. I have MacGyver, like, I swear. You know how MacGyver is?
This made me so unreasonably mad. Because she says all the time, I'm just going to keep it off the channel. I'm just going to keep it off the channel. Why are you guys asking me about this? She did this in the first video. She did this in this video. She does it again in the Sorry About That video. She does it in all these videos. She's like, why are you guys asking me about him? I said I'm not going to talk about him anymore. And every time she comes on there, we don't want to hear it. Like, fuck, he could be Salt Bae and Gordon Ramsay's love child in the kitchen, and I still would hate him. And this is coming from someone who, by the way, is a massive foodie, who enjoys cooking. Like, he could have been best friends with Paul Hollywood and birthed from Mary Berry's vagina, and I would still hate him, because he is a bad person. His ingenuity in the kitchen does not matter. His talents at cooking do not matter. His penis does not matter. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care how good of a brother he is, and I don't care how good of a son he is. Because at the end of the day, all of those good qualities, as far as I'm concerned, are negated by the fact that he's an abusive piece of shit. Allegedly. So when you come on here and you do shit like this, all you do is upset people, especially because you have claimed to not want to talk about him. If you don't want to talk about him, then stop bringing him up. But if you open that door and you talk about, oh, he's a MacGyver in the kitchen, then I should be allowed to ask, why do you think that you making videos for him is like equal exchange for him making for him cooking food for you, something that you can order from outside? You can't turn around and then say, well, you can't ask me that, that's private. If you bring him up, you open that door. This is jury rules. If the judge has deemed that this information is excluded from the trial, that's fine. But if the person on the stand brings it up, then all of a sudden it's relevant to the question. I can ask that question. Okay, I actually don't know anything about the law. I'm going based purely on the 3 seasons of Suits that I've watched. Anyway. Then now we're jumping into the last video, which is Sorry About That.
Neutralize your hormones. Oh, yes, Chris. I'm seeing my doctor, so I have to make a list of things that I need to talk to them about. So the hair loss, the rectal pain. Not funny, but saying rectal pain is.
Yeah, that was childish. Anyway, I have no idea if she's actually seeing a doctor because, as far as Chantal is concerned, talking about going to see a doctor is about as good as going to see an actual doctor. So who knows? But yeah, she's here. She's like, I gotta go see a doctor. You know, I don't know about the hair loss. You've been having hair loss for like years now. The fact that you're going now to see the doctor is amazing. I've said before, I had a very severe hormonal imbalance, and a lot of my hair fell out. Like a lot. Like I lost about like 2/3 of my hair volume, and it's like about it's basically back to 2/3 volume pre my health issue, right? I literally have not been able to regain all of that hair because after a certain point you are actively in the process of slowly dying, right? After the age of 25, your body is no longer regenerating the way that it should be, which means that damage that you sustained, that you just shrugged off, walked off, paid no attention to when you were in your early 20s, all of a sudden becomes a lot harder to walk away from, including things like hair loss, right? That's why they have that saying, you know, a pound of prevention is worth an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of medicine. That's pretty much what it is in this case. I don't think that her hair loss is necessarily the result of her having a hormonal imbalance. I think she might have male pattern baldness, which once more I've said can happen in women. So it would depend on what her dad's hair looks like and if she has any male relatives in her mom's family that have this pattern of baldness. And I think that she should forego this idea of trying to keep her natural hair healthy. Instead, shave it and buy a wig. Because I don't necessarily know if the shaving will help the head. It does sometimes. It stimulates growth. But I think that having a wig that consistently makes her look pretty will really help her with her self-esteem. And for all that I think Chantal has a lot of traits of narcissism, I think that she is a very deeply insecure person, which is why she makes a lot of the choices with Nada that she does. It's quite sad to see. And it's one of the reasons why I relate so much to her, because I myself have a lot of insecurities. I myself have a lot of self-esteem issues. I've lived with a lot of this for a pretty long period of time. I grew up being a little bit always on the chubby side. I was never as morbidly obese as Chantal is, but that doesn't matter. Kids are cruel. So I get it. I sympathize with her, and I relate to so many of the struggles that I think she's probably had in her life. But the way that Chantal communicates and exists in the world makes me dislike her to such an intense degree. Because what's that Brooklyn Nine-Nine meme, you know, cool story, still murder. This is pretty much it. Cool explanation, it's still a shitty personality. Your past traumas do not make it okay for you to be a garbage person now. It's not an excuse. After a certain point, I don't have to cut you slack anymore, and that's pretty much where you are right now.
I'm trying to find a way. Hi, Jackie and Elena. I'm trying to find a way to make my schedule work so that I can be alone with you guys like you want. And I agree, it's obviously the best thing, especially right now. And to spend time helping him, but also spending time with him. So
the thing about making a schedule like that work is putting in place what you prioritize and how you prioritize it. I have things that are very important to me. My work comes as my number one priority during the week, and then spending time with my partner and with my friends is number two priority during the weekends. That means that I have to make sacrifices during the week to make sure that I can accomplish them, and vice versa, right? So I prefer to spend a lot of time with my friends on the weekends. I spend time alone with partner. I spend time with my friends. I have plans, multiple sometime plans, every single day on the weekend. I am a very social person, and I get very weird if I don't have enough interaction with other human beings. It's just how I've always been. So the sacrifice that I make during the week is that I make sure every night I'm doing, laundry every 2 nights, that everything is folded and put away that needs to be done. Bills are paid, house is clean. All of that work that normal people would reserve during the weekends ends up falling for me during the week. Right? So I take time out of my day. If I have a break between work stuff and I'm working from home that day, I will actually clean. I will actually put things away. I will actually organize. I will cook food. I will do all of those things because I understand that my time during the weekend is going to be very limited, and all of those things need to be done. You need to find things and that are a priority, and then you need to work the lesser priority things around that. For you, your priority should be working with your channel. It should be creating content for your channel. And then whatever time you have left over, you can see how you can work Natter into the schedule if you are so interested in keeping him around. But today is an example of that. She woke up really late. She didn't set her schedule. I'm pretty sure that she got home really, really late, right? Wee hours of the morning. And rather than sacrificing her sleep, because God forbid Chantal make any kind of sacrifice on her part, she slept in. She woke up at whatever time. And to make sure that she was still getting in that coffee bees, because, we need all of that good super chat money. She decided she's just going to go live, even though she had already made plans to go pick Natter up so that he could run whatever errands he needs to and use her as a personal Uber without paying her a goddamn fucking cent. That is not appropriate. If you were concerned, then this should have been your first priority, and it wasn't. If say you really couldn't help it and you were very tired and you needed to sleep in, then the first thing you needed to do when you got up in the morning is reschedule the stuff with Natter. Because your work should be your number one priority. It's how you pay for everything else in your life. It's not just about, for me, work isn't just about, purely the money that I get, right? But she claims that she loves her friends. This is letting your friends down. I can get a job. Jobs are a dime a dozen, okay? If not this, then I can do something else. And I said before, there's no such thing as, small jobs. Each job is as important as every other. There's no such thing as unskilled labor. You couldn't put, a CEO to work as a electrician and expect that the CEO will know what to do. So when I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you and I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're saying you're gonna make this work, but I have the perspective of I already know how this turns out. It makes me so unreasonably mad. Because everyone called it. Everyone knew this is what was gonna happen. You don't give a shit about anybody in your comments and anyone who's there giving you money. And that's why stuff like this happens. They're not a priority in your life. You don't give a crap if you let them down. They're just money in a bank for you. And I am not one of those people, but god damn does it make me feel mad for them. God damn do I feel sad for the people who are giving her money and they actually view her as a friend. If you are one of those people, I don't think I have any of her VIBs in my chat. I'm too small a channel and I don't think any of them would be here even if I was a bigger channel. But if you are one of those people who's given money, please send me an email. I have my email linked down below. I want to know what your thoughts are about the way that Chantal treats you guys. I really am very curious to know why you continue to be a VIBzer. And I don't mean the people who are there just to troll her. I'm talking about the people who are legitimate subscribers. If you are someone who somehow managed to stumble onto my channel, I really, really want to know.
That's just what my reality is. That's what I'm trying to do.
Trying to do what? What schedule do you have? You have 2 things that you have to worry about. You're not paying your taxes. You're not taking care of your family. You don't have friends that you're worrying about other than that. It's to go bang a guy and go live on your channel. I don't understand how difficult that can be. If you don't think that you'll be there every evening, then make a schedule and every morning, without fail, you get up, you go do a coffee bees. Go do a coffee bees every morning. Say, I'll do it by 10 because I think that 8 would be too early. Every day at 10 o'clock, we're going to coffee bees for 1 hour. Set a time limit. And then you have the rest of the day free to fuck whoever you want, whatever location you want, with however many STDs you please. Why is it that it's so hard for you to work a schedule when people with much more demanding positions, my best friend right now has a brand new kitten, 2 jobs, and sick parents that she's taking care of. I don't understand why it's so difficult for you just to manage this one thing.
Call this house home? Did I? It kind of feels like a second home sometimes because I am, there a lot of the time.
Yeah, you're there a lot of the time. So don't be getting all high and mighty and saying, oh, I love my cats, I take care of my cats. You're there a lot of the time by your own goddamn admission.
Yeah. Amberlynn!
She put on a wig, by the way. She came upstairs and she put on this god-awful wig. I hate it so much.
Hey! I look like Heather Locklear. Taylor Collins. Wow, Amber, how about getting on your own channel? Hey, how about being nice to Amber? You're welcome here anytime, Amber. You know that. So,
I have never felt less respect for Amber than I do whenever she seems to come on here and support Foodie Beauty. I can understand supporting Foodie Beauty before when she was doing mukbangs and stuff. What I cannot understand is supporting Foodie Beauty now that she has openly admitted to doing drugs. You have a personal history with it. You, more than anyone else, should understand what drugs can do to a person. And the fact that you are willing to sell out that very deep understanding that I'm sure she has of a drug addict and the impact that it has on the loved ones around them so that she can gain a little bit of internet clout and have someone who can support her when need be, it's pathetic and it's sad.
what do you guys think about the schedule? Do you like, I mean, this is kind of like not a very successful day for the schedule, but tomorrow I would like to by noon have a coffee bees maybe I could write down. There's no KFC in here, guys. Sofa King.
All right, before we get into the dandy situation, she just trails off after that. Maybe I can write it down that by 12 I want to be out. What? What are you talking about? Ooh, sorry. I thought I had a red thing flashing on my screen. I got kind of concerned. But what are you talking about? What are you talking about when you're sitting there and you're going, oh, I should write this down? Is that such a surprising moment for you? That you have a schedule that you should stick to? What exactly was so poignant about that thought that I needed written down, not just understood? More importantly, it wasn't a successful day for the calendar because the calendar is not a physical entity. It cannot get up off of your chair or your bed or your table, wherever it is that it's lying in that moment, and physically force you to get out of bed, move your ass, and do things. Only you can do that. The calendar is just there as a reminder. It has no other capabilities, okay? It is not a curse. It's not a hex. It is not mind control. It can't make you be productive. You can make you be productive. And the fact that you choose to continue doing whatever this is instead, it's pathetic.
Chantal, Danny is typing. What?
All right, so my understanding of the situation is this. Before we get into it, I don't know really who Dandy is. And part of the reason why I don't know who Dandy is because I don't watch across all of the channels. And a lot of times when I'm watching her as clips. And so sometimes they'll insert the names. I don't have a very good memory for names anyway. And outside of a few of her ride and dies, I don't pay all that much attention. She's really boring. She's real boring most of the time. So I know I'm missing a lot of context here, but if you are like me and you don't know what's happening, Dandy is someone who has been in her chat. I did observe some of his messages in there. I'm assuming it's a his. I don't know. The profile picture is a his. But in her chat, in Pete's chat, and in Natter's chat, and has been commenting on all of them. This is Sofa King, and he's like, Dandy is a EG is a hater, but he said that Dandy says racist things, and I called him out on it.
Okay, Sofa King. I will pay more attention. I didn't see it. Sofa King is not wrong. Baby, Danny continues says racist things.
Oops.
People always try to point out to you. Why does he never?
Sorry about that, you guys. Sorry about that, you guys.
Well, I honestly don't see it. So, Dandy, that is not allowed in here.
Wow.
Absolutely zero tolerance policy for racism.
Unless it's her racism. Sorry, by the way, about that. It is absolutely ridiculous that she is sitting here and she's saying, oh, I can't believe that, you know, Dandy would say something like that. I've never seen him do something like that. You guys, you know, that's absolutely not allowed. I don't tolerate racism in my chat. Zero tolerance policy. What? Are you joking right now? You're not even displaying a zero tolerance policy right now. Someone has come to you and says this person is saying incredibly racist things. One of your ride and dies. I can understand if it's a hater, but Sofa King has been her ride and die for a very long period of time. He's coming to you and he's saying this person is being real fucking racist, and you're sitting there saying I have a zero tolerance policy. Having a zero tolerance policy means going and immediately blocking his ass to make sure that he can't comment on your channel anymore. That would be a zero tolerance policy. I could have bought that she didn't know if she didn't react the way that she's reacting now. More importantly, how are you going to sit there and say you have a zero tolerance policy for racists when you literally collabed with Negs, when you have literally gone on to say multiple racist things, when you've been called out on it, you refuse to apologize and just say, all of these black women accusing me of racism are just being reverse racist towards me, a white woman. How are you going to sit there and say that, oh, I have a zero tolerance policy for racism when all you have done is fetishize men from different countries? It boggles the mind.
So, what's when gingerbread loaf?
First thing I want to say is her chat was not having it. They were like so incredibly mad at her. I'm going to put in all the different like pieces of information that I have here. Oops. I'll put in all the different pieces of information that I have here. I'm looking at my screen right now, so if I'm not making eye contact, I apologize. But people are calling her out left, right, and center. We don't support racism, so I truly hope that you do the right thing and block Dandy again, right? This is from later. She'll address it in a little bit. But that's plain cheeseburgers. That's a hardcore supporter of hers, okay? Sofa King made a super chat, also commented. I put that comment in there, but Sofa King made another comment, and he's like, Chantal Dandy is typing out the N-word in the chat, and I called him out on it. And then we've got multiple people saying he's being racist. Dandy is the worst. Dandy has been racist, and she just ignores it. Dandy continues to say racist things, and people are always trying to point it out to you. Why does he never get the rage? And that's what we're getting to here. The comment that Gingerbread Loaf made is, Dandy called Pete's the F word multiple times, and you ignore it and block people whose advice you don't want. So I can't believe that she is not aware of this situation. I refuse to believe that. In fact, I'm pretty sure, given how many of the comments she reads and how closely she seems to understand what everyone is saying and how much she seems to be clear on who people are, remembers their names, their affiliations, that she doesn't know who this man is. But just like with Shani for Christ, she's not going to acknowledge it because this person is giving her money. And to Chantal, money is important enough to sell out her own fucking soul.
Coke on my nose. It's skin. It's stuck on there. You got like. Am I going to Natters to drink beer? It's kind of late for beer.
I don't know if that was Coke or if that was skin. Given her history, I'm willing to believe one explanation a lot more than the other. Given her overall mood and demeanor, I'm willing to believe one explanation far more than the other. But then again, I have no evidence.
Lizzie, Sammy BJ deserve better than you. Whatever, Lizzie. My cats are fine. I see them like every day.
Yeah, your cats are fine, but no thanks to you. You're not the one who's taking care of them. That would be Pete's.
Pretty much. I know. So take your $2 and shove it, Lizzie, up your ass.
But remember, she really loves you guys. She really, really, really loves her VIPs. You know, she misses them when she's gone. She really misses them, you guys. Don't you know? Don't you know the high esteem in which she holds you?
How about that?
I wouldn't be talking about other people's asses given the fact that yours currently has hemorrhoids from the amount of shitting you're doing. I'm sure most of that is just your personality coming out, but I'm sure a lot of it also has to do with the massive amount of shit you also put into your body. So, at least she can do it without pain.
What are you guys freaking out about now? Like, for me petting my cat?
I hate when she does this like gross generalization thing when she's like, what are you guys freaking out about now? The fact that I'm petting my cats? No! The fact that you seem to be abandoning them at every possible opportunity. You could go get some diseased dick from a douchebag.
We don't support racism. I try to help you do everything and look handy again. So that's right. Yeah, of course. If he's racist, of course. Like, I don't condone that in my chat at all.
Okay. You don't condone that in your chat at all. So why aren't you blocking him?
I know I miss a lot of stuff in my chat too. Or they delete it. I don't know. No, my own content interests me. It's just... I don't know.
When she doesn't have anything to say, she just looks sad and she's like, I don't know. Giving the implication that I'm having a hard time, you guys. My mental health is rough. I just don't know what to do. Pity, pity, pity.
I don't enjoy being here all the time, like just eating and being high all the time. So like before, like I do get the like I do kind of want to like once in a while, but I don't know.
Those are not the only two states of being, where you spend time with him or you stay at home eating and getting high. There are other things. It's a great big wide world out there. And there's many things you can do.
Frenzy baby. You shouldn't consider yourself a creator. You don't create crap. Looking for share, Lambo, or PC, you'd have zero content. They make the chat cool. Thank you, Frenzy baby.
And there it is, that dismissal of someone giving you the cold, hard truth of the matter. You are not a creator. You don't deserve my respect as a creator, and I will not give it to you because you don't create shit. And if it wasn't for her VIBzers, her channel would die even faster. So, once more, if you are an actual VIBzer, someone who supports Chantel, and you manage to find yourself on this video, you manage to sit through it, that'd be amazing. Please tell me why. I want to understand what the appeal is, because as far as I see, all she does is disrespect you and treat you like shit. So I want to apologize first and foremost, because I think that the editing on this was maybe not as tight as it could have been. Normally, if there's like 10 minutes almost worth of video from her, there should have been a 3-hour long video. But there were a lot of pauses in the middle where she was just sort of sitting and staring. Part of that is, like I said, I'm a little pressed on time. And part of that is also because I want you to see her demeanor. I want you to see the way that she's reacting and she's behaving. She is actively high here. She's actively under the influence of something. And I think it's more apparent the longer you watch her. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate everybody being here with me. My channel has grown a little bit since the last time I spoke to you guys, and I appreciate that. I also lost some viewers because I did a culling. They got rid of all the bots. YouTube does this periodically, and I lost a bunch of viewers again. But it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not too obsessed with the viewer count. I'm not too obsessed with the money I earn on this channel either, other than how I can support this channel further, because I'm fortunate enough to have a full-time job, and this is something I do for fun and because nobody in my real life wants to discuss Chantel with me. And you guys feel like friends more than anything else, right? Like, I get to talk to you, you get to talk to me. This channel is a conversation. I want you to leave what you think down below. I've been trying to be better because I read everything, but I've been trying to be better about going through and like answering what people are saying and like talking back and communicating my thoughts, because a lot of times I'll read something and I was like, oh, that's a good point. And I was like, you know, I should try and actually be better about letting people know that what they're talking about has actually impacted me in some way. So thank you guys so much, as always, for being here. Thank you so much to my patrons in particular. I want to say thank you to my $25 patrons, Oceana Songs and D. Higgins. You guys are amazing. You make the world turn. And I've got all of the social media stuff linked down below. So if you want to become a patron, I'm doing 4 extra videos this month as a thank you to my patrons, because it's the Christmas season, and also because I suck and sometimes I get stuff out a little bit late. So I want to say thank you to them. So if you want to become a patron, hey, there's a special bonus in it this month. And yeah, as always, I'm Jasmine, the sequel, and I am not relatable. I've been forgetting what a peace sign is recently. Peace. A special thank you to my patrons: Acrophobe, Ariel M, Christina, Courtney EP, Dainty B, Lori H, Sidra Z, Colleen L, Debbie E, Juju, Justa Jude, Kate O, Sonia P, D Higgins, and Oceana Songs.